If you're an Atlanta fan, you know that the Atlanta Falcons have had a very, very tough season. It's actually, at some points, been very, very painful to watch. However, I am going to provide the Falcons' answers, so if the Falcons can watch this video, the Falcons' answers to their problems and how they should rebuild going into the offseason. Welcome on the mic. Of course, you know what this episode is about already. Make sure to like and subscribe. All that information is going to be up here. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, of course, going into this season, we had high expectations for the Falcons. You know, three very decent wide receivers, a good tight end that's a vertical threat, Todd Gurley, who was an All-Pro a couple of years ago. And then, of course, we go 14 and I'm guessing 12 because we play on Sunday. So we're 4-11 right now, 4-11. But yeah, we ended up going 4-11 and probably 4-12. There are a lot of things that need to be changed, but here I'm going to name about 3 or 4 things that I believe should happen in the offseason. Number 1, finding Matt Ryan's replacement. I don't think you should replace Matt Ryan right off the bat with a rookie. I think you should maybe, if you can get Darnell Haskins a free agency maybe, or if you want to draft a rookie with your probably top 5 pick, I'd go ahead and do that. But what I would do is get a rookie and then lay him to the side for a year, just as they did with Pat Mahomes, because Matt Ryan's not a bad quarterback. He can teach the rookie some stuff, and with Matt Ryan, we'll still remain somewhat competitive because he's still one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. He's a great quarterback. With Matt Ryan, we'll not only remain competitive, but we will get we'll get the plus of having a rookie quarterback under a star quarterback, for example, a guy who's done it for a very long time, and that's the main thing I like about it. We'll have a rookie coming in and basically being that young guy, that guy that sometimes gets in a little bit. If he needs to, he'll get in. However, I think Matt Ryan should be his main mentor. Matt Ryan should stay there for another year and teach him. Another thing, Matt Ryan, he's not a bad quarterback, but he's clearly the problem. It's time to move on. You've changed defenses. You changed offensive. You changed head coaches. You've tried to get better receivers. You've gotten Todd Gurley for him. You've gotten him a pretty decent O-line for him. I think Matt Ryan, it's time for him to leave. It's time for him to get a fresh start. But before that, I really think we should draft a rookie or get a free agent. Anybody that we know has a lot of talent but is maybe unproven at this point in their careers. That's what I think we should go with. I think we should replace the quarterback. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, number 2, more reasons. It's just a lot of young talent. We have a lot of young talent on this team. You have Deion Jones. You have Foyesade Oluokun on the defense. And then, of course, you have Grady Jarrett, who's a Pro Bowler this year. You have a kicker in Younghoe Koo, who's really good, a decent punter in Sterling Hoffrichter, and then you have your young targets, Calvin Ridley, who somehow didn't make the Pro Bowl, who has 1,300 yards this season, and counting, and combine that because he missed one game, so we're looking at probably one of the biggest seasons that there could have been. So there's a lot of young talent on this team, and the thing is, you have to build around your young talent. You have to ask Calvin Ridley, you have to ask Foyesade Oluokun, you have to ask Deion Jones, what is the best for you? Do you guys need a pass rusher? Do we need somebody who can cover the backfield even better? Do we, on the offensive side, does Calvin Ridley need a quarterback that would rather roll out and get him the ball? Does Calvin Ridley like to run the short routes, the long routes, the fast routes, the slow routes? We need to ask our young talent what they want and what they need, and then get them what they want and what they need, because there's a lot of young talent, and I hate seeing talent go to waste, because of course you still have AJ Terrell. You have a lot of young talent going to waste right now. And for the Falcons, the thing is, they have a mix of young and old. And I know those old guys have done a number on teaching those younger guys on how to be football players, what to do. But at the end of the day, it's time to invest into the future. It's time to really let the younger guys take that next step up, if you will. Let the younger guys step into the leading roles instead of the older guys now. Because as you can see, when older guys step into leading roles, their bodies tend to get beat up. We saw that with Julio Jones this season. His body was beat up the whole season. He's not even playing in the last game of the season, update that I just got about a couple hours ago. But Julio Jones, he's not playing in the last game of the season. Of course, you have Alex Mack, a 36-year-old center who's not playing in the last game because of COVID and injury-related issues. It's time to pass the torches down, if you will, in Atlanta, and that's one reason. Lots of young talent. Time to build around that young talent. And then you have the third reason, quite possibly my final reason. It is trade what you have. Trade the older guys while they still have some value. Now, don't trade Julio Jones. I don't quite agree with that. But if you could trade maybe Dante Fowler, he's an older guy, hasn't quite had a great year, but he still has some trade value on the market. Trade him, maybe a third, maybe a higher round pick, and then who knows? Maybe we'll get somebody proven, somebody that can get you 7, 8 sacks in a season. We can get very, very good value for some of these older players. And even if we happen to trade Julio Jones, I think that would maybe a little bit benefit from Atlanta, because you have to think Calvin Ridley's been doing all of this without Julio Jones on the field for majority of the season. So Calvin Ridley, maybe it's time for him to take that next step as the first receiver. Maybe it's time for him to go against the best corners every Sunday. Maybe it's time to take that next step. Maybe it's time for Russell Gage to take another step. Yeah, there are a lot of receivers on that team. And even if you do trade Julio, you can probably get another younger receiver, such as a DJ Chark, for example. Maybe you'll get him. He's a great receiver, tall, fast. You'll get him. Maybe you'll be able to beef up your defensive line a little bit. A lot of people in the league can use a great receiver like Julio Jones. And if you traded him, or if you traded any of our older guys, for example, you have Matt Ryan, you have Julio Jones, you have Jake Matthews, who's a little older now. You have, of course, Alex Mack, who's a good center. You have a lot of older guys. Alan Bailey. There are a ton of guys on this Falcons team that can be traded. Now, am I recommending we trade everybody I just named? Not at all. But what I'm saying is it's time to make some moves. It's time to shift it a little bit. Time to get the team a little bit on the younger side so everybody can grow together. You see what the Hawks are doing right now. I'll use the Atlanta Hawks as an example. Another team in Atlanta. They grew around their young talent. They traded. They got rid of Al Horford. They got rid of Jeff Teague. They got rid of Paul Millsap. They got rid of all those guys, and all those guys were good, but they just couldn't get it done. Same thing with Atlanta. All those guys, Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, both really, really great NFL players, but they haven't gotten it done so far. And I'm just saying, maybe it's time for a little bit of a difference. You see, it's working well for the Hawks right now. They're 3-1. I'm watching the game as we speak. However, it's time to invest. It's time to really, really look into trading that older talent for younger people, younger pieces, so teams can build together, just like, for example, the Atlanta Hawks are doing right now. So, yeah, those are my three things that I think the Falcons, should go into doing the offseason. So, of course, you have number one, replace Matt Ryan, or at least get a long-term replacement for him, whether that be a year, 2 years, because pretty soon he's going to be gone. Even if we don't trade him or anything, he's an older guy, so pretty soon Matt Ryan's going to be gone. Second option, invest in your young talent. Let those guys take the step up. Let those guys lead. Let those guys feel like that they are in the leading roles. It's their team now. And personally, I feel like we need to give that young talent a better chance, a great chance at possibly, being stars. Grady Jarrett, Deion Jones, Forsyth Luakon were all guys I use as examples. And, of course, the third reason, trade some of that older talent. Julio Jones, maybe, Dante Fowler, Jake Matthews, Alex Mack. All those guys will have pretty good value on the trade market, and you could possibly get younger pieces. Did I recommend trade everybody I just named? No, because if they traded Julio Jones, I'd probably be really mad. However, I can understand how it can benefit the team, so I'll tolerate it for right now. And then, of course, we have to find our GM, find some of our coaches. This team is pretty broken right now. I think the Atlanta Falcons need to go in the offseason with a positive mindset, though. You have a lot of young talent. You have a lot of things you can do. Of course, with Todd Gurley gone, with some of our bigger contracts gone, we're going to have a decent amount of cap space, so maybe we'll make moves in free agency. However, I'm looking forward to see what the Atlanta Falcons can do in the offseason. I'm looking forward to see what they can do in the next year. I'm looking forward to the NFL playoffs. I'll probably make a video on that later. But anyhow, thank you for watching on the mic. All of the episodes, all the stuff is going to be up here, of course. Instagram, all of that. This video is going to upload on tomorrow, which will be January 2nd as of right now, because, of course, I'm recording this at night, just in case you couldn't tell. So, thank you for watching. I love you guys, and I will catch you guys next episode.